Hi, friends. Pastor Casey here. I'm so glad to be with you today. Good noon, as we say around here. I'm excited for episode 4 of our Foundry Parents interview series, where we will be joined by Miss MyRanda Jones, Master of Education and business owner, and an educator and a mom of 4. You are going to love it. I hope you have a pen and pencil handy because you're going to want to write down some of these amazing things that she has to say. I hope that you were able to join us for worship yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to see it, go ahead and check that out on our Facebook page. The music was incredible, absolutely incredible. And I just want to mention there was quite a bit of bluegrass, which made me feel a little bit at home. And it was very well done. So it was an awesome time to honor our Appalachian Service Project and the opportunity that we have to give this year financially, because we aren't going to be able to participate in our Appalachian Service Project, but actually physically giving of our time and service. So anyway, it was a great worship service, and I hope that you'll check that out if you have the opportunity. I'll also say, if you hear some noise in the background, my 5-year-old Cash is being bribed with a video game right now, and there is no shame in my game. So that's where we are. And so now I'm going to welcome in MyRanda Jones, and we are going to have a wonderful conversation. Hi.
Hi, Casey. Hi, friends.
I am so glad you are here. It is so good to connect with you.
Absolutely. This is awesome.
I did a little bit of an intro in our social media post this morning and told folks that we were old basketball teammates. So
yes.
It's been a long time.
A 3-point shot.
This is so funny. I didn't even plan to talk about this, but I saw an article that was written by Vanguard Athletic Department about the national championship game.
Wow.
That year. I guess it was, I don't even know how long I don't even want to think about how long ago it was.
Yeah.
But that year we were ranked number 6 and made it all the way to the national championship game. I don't know if you remember, we didn't even pack for that long.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. It was awesome.
That was such a good run. I remember that well. And I remember us beating people by 20 all the way until the championship game. And then,
yes. It was an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
It was awesome. You know, there's some things that are just ingrained in your memory, and that was definitely a time I was trying to explain it to my husband, and you know, he had never experienced anything like that himself. So to be able to have that for myself, you know, it's amazing, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Something I will always cherish and remember.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that you might tell us a little bit about yourself, and you mentioned your husband. Tell us about your family and the work that you do.
Yes. So I am a transplant native of Nashville, Tennessee. We moved here before it was the hot city. I've been here for about 20 years, and I attended a local high school, Antioch High School, and from there I got a scholarship to Trevecca, where I played basketball and majored in behavioral science. After that, I was a social worker at Room in the Inn and also at Mental Health Cooperative for a couple of years. And then met my future husband at that point, and we had dated for a couple of years and got pregnant. And after that, decided that I would pursue my master's in education at Tennessee State University. So I did that while pregnant, and had him a little bit before I graduated. And then from there, you know, I really wanted to teach. My plan was to teach 2nd grade. And when I went to look at preschools, I was shocked. I was shocked at the wait list that we have for the schools that I fell in love with the teachers and with the directors, and seeing the hands-on activities that the kids were doing. Had 2-year wait list. And then there were some that I would never step foot back into. So with that experience, you know, I had conversations with my husband, who at the time was an NFL player. And we just decided that that would be our next venture together as a couple. And we franchised Kitty Academy in Franklin, and we are the first one in Tennessee. And so that was about a 2-year process, finding location and getting prepared to open a business and everything. So from there, my son was about 2 when we finally opened the school. And so from there, we've had 2 extra kids. So it's a total of 4. And I just had my last in August of 2019. So that's me in a nutshell. My husband is now retired, so he's home to help with our kids, and that goes into the factors of deciding to have more kids. But that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to make you tell us about your award that you won for Kitty Academy.
Yes, I actually won a couple. I hate to toot my own horn, but I won
Do
a
it.
couple.
Do it. Go for it.
I mean, when people consider a franchise, some people it's just business owning. They don't need support. However, for me, just being my first time in the business world, I needed a franchise that would support me with questions that I have, that were willing to come and do on-site visits with me and walk my building and talk to my director about any issues that we had to ensure success. To me, you always need a support system, no matter what you're doing. We're better together. Before we actually decided to do Kitty Academy, we considered another franchise. And Kitty Academy, to me, hands down, had the best support. It has been awesome. Even through the coronavirus pandemic that we're going through, every day I'm hearing from my franchise business consultant about if I have questions or at-home activities that our students can do and that our parents can incorporate while they're working from home. So it's been awesome. And so within that, I've had the opportunity to have friends that were considering opening a business. I have, let them know my experience. And so within that, I've had 2 other people that have decided to be franchisees with Kitty Academy. They're not in Tennessee. They're actually, one's in Georgia and one's in Texas. And so within that, with promoting Kitty Academy's brand and their core values, I actually won an award for Star Maker. And so what that means is that I'm promoting their brand, I'm promoting their character essentials that it's their core values. And so, they were really happy with our success here in Tennessee. And then, that I'm happy to share it with my friends and just grow the brand.
That's amazing.
Yes. It was a complete surprise. They don't tell you these things. And so they had conference in San Diego, and I'm like 7 months pregnant. I'm sitting there eating my face off. And, they say the award and my name. Oh my God, I was completely shocked. It was awesome.
Yes. Well, I can imagine that those around you and those that know you were maybe not as shocked as you were. Yeah, because we know how hard you work and we know what a champion you are. So I wondered if you might tell us a little bit about your journey to motherhood. You mentioned the 2 kids and the 2 extra kids and being done, but I wondered if you might tell us about your journey, some of the highs, some of the lows,
yes,
and all that.
Yes, so I always knew I wanted to be a mother. Although my first pregnancy was unplanned, I knew it at that point. That was when my journey would start with Kim. It was an internal feeling that I had that okay, my transformation is about to take place. My life is no longer just about me; it's about this little person that is on his way. So, it was unadulterated joy that I had and that my husband had when we found out that we were pregnant and when he actually arrived. And so within that, you also remember that things that happen in this world that you can't control, it's literally like having a piece of your heart just out there. And you can only do so much to protect them. There are things that happen that's unfortunate and sad, and you go through it, and on the other side of it, you're glad you were able to handle the things that may have happened and as best as you can. Again, I mentioned support earlier, And for me, it's been my husband, my mother, my mother-in-law. That is my village. With whatever we faced. For instance, my son at 8 months got sick with a virus that in turn he had to have surgery. And so, as I was nursing at the time, as a nursing mom, that was extremely difficult to go through. But my mom stayed at the hospital with me the entire time because my husband was in Detroit playing football, and he ended up flying down. So, there's just that time where as a parent, you see them sick or you see them hurt themselves, or, they encounter a person that isn't so nice, and, explaining all these things of real life to them, that there's highs and lows of parenthood, but it is truly my life's calling. I love all four of them. They're all different. And so to see the personalities is, I never try to shape them into a mini MyRanda or a mini Jason. It's like this is a completely different person from the both of us. There's some similarities, but at the end of the day, I'm raising them to truly be themselves fully, in whatever capacity that is.
Yeah, that's so important. I constantly find myself like with a mantra of like I'm so glad I'm getting to know this human,
Yes.
As a reminder of those things that you're saying about how
Mm-hmm.
and it is still cool to like see the ways in which they do pick up some of our characteristics, but like it's so awesome to see how they just are becoming
Yes.
to paraphrase Michelle Obama because I'm obsessed and
Yeah.
what a good book that was, but like to see the ways that they are becoming who they are. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey, and I echo everything that you've said about it. I wonder about this pandemic time and how that maybe has shifted your role as a educator, also as a parent. What shifts have been made during this pandemic time?
Okay, so it's 4 under 6. Their ages are 6, 4, 1, and 8 months. And so I only had one in kindergarten that was actually, he had to have work done at a certain time, and he's used to a certain schedule at his school. So the other two, they're preschool age. And so, that was more so me incorporating the things that we did at the school. Our teachers at the school still had Zoom meetings, and so they would have little worksheets that they can do, singing songs with them, and any opportunity I could have to make a curriculum item with them, I would. And I do have a little example. So we have cardstock in the house, and husband's birthday is this weekend. So their project was to make birthday cards for him. So it's that was a shift for me, from being my office to being preschool teacher for my middles. And then for my son, what I did was I brought him into the office with me. I allowed him to see what I do every day, and gave him breaks to do his work. Whether it was a Zoom meeting or a worksheet, we actually read a book together on YouTube, and then we made a little. The book was called Dinosaurs Love Tacos, and so we made a taco out of a paper plate, and he colored lettuce and tomatoes. And so my shift has really been more so of a combination of everything I am anyway. A lot of people, they may have less workload or more at this time, but it's really just trying to figure out how you can incorporate it in doing everything that you're doing on a daily basis, and not trying to stress yourself out and saying, we have to do this at this time and this time. It's just, this is new for me and for my child as well. There's going to be moments that they're frustrated, and there's moments that you may get frustrated with them. But at the end of the day, this is all new territory for everyone. Everyone in the world is going through the same thing, which is it's crazy to think about that. But staying optimistic, and because your child's going to remember how they felt during this time. I think about 9/11 when that happened. I can literally close my eyes and think about where I was when that happened, how my mom was reacting to it, my dad, and so it's really important to remember, our stress level during this time and how we translate that to our kids. We want this to be a happy time for them.
Yeah, that's so important. I had not even thought or made that connection with 9/11, but you're so right. Yeah, and this being sort of a global crisis, yeah, that's a whole other level of things. As you were talking about engaging curriculum in a different way, it reminded me of something that's happened recently with my son Cash. So he is going to be in a Spanish immersion school next year, which for kindergarten, which is really exciting. We started working with him on Spanish from a really early age, but hadn't really circled back around. So he can count and do a few other things. But anyway, him getting into this school, we're pretty excited about. And he had started doing this thing where he wanted to copy people for like 24 hours. Like even down to like he slept in my clothes one night. Like that may be creepy, but but if you have kids, like everything with toddlers and preschoolers is like borderline creepy, but also like endearing.
Yes, absolutely.
So before he would go to bed, he would just constantly repeat everything I said, which could be, I mean, like, it just makes you want to like, lose your mind. But something clicked in my brain where I was like, you know what, this would be a perfect opportunity to continue with some of our Spanish work to prepare him for school. And so I started teaching him Spanish phrases and teaching him Spanish words. And so he was repeating that, and he would do that for a solid 10 to 15 minutes before he would get tired of it, and he would stop copying me. So it accomplished all kinds of things.
Yes,
but if I had thought, oh no, he's getting into a Spanish school, we need to sit down at the counter every day and go through Spanish vocabulary and conjugate verbs, and like we need to do all of these things, he might have really pushed that away. But it was just an accident for me. But I think that's maybe one practical example of another practical example of the things that you're talking about, of making curriculum not necessarily linear and something that you need to place over the top of your life, but that there are moments where it can be engaged in the everyday. I'm going to ask you another question, and then I've got a child here that needs my attention. So what's the best lesson that you think you've learned as an educator?
For me as an educator, I would say patience has been the biggest lesson. And this time, everyone is so busy, whether it's with work or with their kids or extracurricular activities or whatever it may be. But with our kids, this is their first time here, and everything for them is brand new. And so just remembering to slow down and not hold them to what we have in our mind and when they should learn things, or compare it to when other kids learn things or experience things. That has been key for me. My 6-year-old right now is as tall as an 8-year-old. And so people expect so many things from him, and he's not there yet. And I don't push him. It's when he's ready, he will do it. We have a neighbor, he's 5 and he's riding his bike without his training wheels, and Kenan is taking his time with it. And, I encourage him. I ask him at times, when he's ready to let me know, or if he wants to practice. And, it's patience. Everything's going to happen at the right time. And so for me, that's been the biggest thing. And they can sense that. The kids can sense when you're pushing them, or if you're being hurried. Just taking time and, just whatever it is you're working on with your child, whether you're in the garden or, if you're cooking with them or whatever it may be, coloring, just taking time to actually be in that moment with them is extremely important. So patience right now is extremely important.
Yeah, what a good word that is. Oh my goodness. Especially like as I'm having an interruption, right? Like sometimes the beauty is in the interruptions if we'll just let them happen. So yeah, what a good word. I wonder if you have some advice about the most important thing that parents and caregivers can prioritize, specifically with regard to education during this moment. I know some kids are still having some schoolwork and won't be wrapped up until the end of May. Some parents are sort of wrapped up with schoolwork and moving into summer. So any ideas you have about like what are some summer necessities, or what are some priorities to keep at the forefront during this time?
Well, my suggestion right now would just to be prepared. Again, in the business of the day, there's things that as a parent that you can just pick up when you're at Target or Walmart, and you have it in your house for when the moment strikes, whatever it may be. For instance, going into summer, but then also considering the educational aspect. Chalk has been awesome for the kids. They love it, for one. It's messy, but they love it. So one thing that I did was we went outside and we drew rainbows and flowers. We talked about what season that we see these things. We talked about the different colors, how to spell those colors. We put happy messages on our sidewalk for people when they're walking their dog or taking a jog, they can see it. We talked about why we do happy messages for other people. And so, within that, I was able to explain to them why we're always at home, and why some people may be sad. Do that. We're talking about emotional intelligence. If they see someone who, maybe is frowning or sad, that's an opportunity, for them. And so chalk has been great just to have. It's an inexpensive thing that you can just purchase. Another thing, on top of being prepared, the weather it's unpredictable. Wherever you live, it's unpredictable. But again, by being prepared and by having some things on hand for when the moment is ready, it just, as adults, we're learning every day too. And so, for instance, I just had some kites, and it was just a random day. I saw them; they were like $2. I grabbed a couple, and we were outside with chalk on this particular day, and it was windy. Like my hair is all over my head, and I'm looking at the trees. And I'm like, oh, I got those kites. I'm like, hey guys, let's go on the back for a little bit. And they absolutely loved it. They were so excited to be able to do that. It may be difficult for someone at this point just to run to the store and get kites when it's actually windy. You don't really, that's a lot of time for this one little simple activity with your kids. So being prepared right now for impromptu curriculum times is it's extremely it's valuable. We're building memories with these kids. They're the youngest they're ever going to be today, and so to remember that it's crucial. Because again, these times they're extremely stressful for parents, but for the kids, they're just loving being at home with us, and so just to be on top of that is it's to be prepared and be on top of it. It will make for the kids' experience and for their memories.
Yeah, that's really, really helpful. I know the Target like $1 spot is kind of like, heaven for me. That's one of those places that I try to grab as much as I can.
Yeah.
Something that you said earlier is just continue to replay in my mind. And you said just in the answer to this last question, they're the youngest that they're ever going to be today, which also recalled for me that this is the first time that these kids are human. And you said it more eloquently than me, but this is the first time they're here. And it's something that is helpful to remember for me, I think, is that we're all kind of like doing this thing together for the first time. And I think that what you're offering is a really good balance between like, this too shall pass, like survive and advance. And like, there's an opportunity here, a beautiful opportunity that if we sort of have an attitude of like, we can do this, and sort of seek the curriculum in everything, that we can teach things that are developmentally appropriate, like emotional intelligence, which you mentioned, and learning about seasons and fun and play, that all of those things can coexist, which is a really hopeful message for me who really only hears you've got, 2 kids under 5, like it's
Yes.
gonna pass. Like it'll be
Right.
fine. Just survive
Yes.
it and it'll be fine.
Yes, and it's sometimes shocking to me. You know, when people are walking by and they'll see me outside with 3 out of 4, and they're like, you know, how are you handling it? And I'm like, it's fine. So, to me, they're right along this ride with me. And, it actually takes a little bit of the stress that I have to deal with as far as being a business owner off. I actually look forward to going outside and running barefoot with them. That's, taking my time at a break, but it's so valuable for them. And, we could look at this out of two different lenses, or I can't wait till this is over, or what can we do? And when this is over, it's like, oh, I really enjoy being able to have that time with my child and fly that kite. Those are two different lenses. You can choose it, and I'm hopeful that most people would choose to savor these moments.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so important. I also am mindful that so I've got two, right? And with each child, I sort of became a mother both times. Like I
Yes.
wasn't a mother the first time and then had it all figured out the second time. Like
Uh-huh.
I had to become, like keeping, with the Michelle Obama theme, like I had to
Uh-huh.
become a mother again, and to do it differently that time because, you know, becoming a mother of one and becoming a mother of two are two very different
Yes.
things. And also
Yes.
becoming a mother of that one child is different than becoming a mother of the second child.
Yes.
So having that attitude of like, okay, we're just going to figure this out together.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, there are aspects of survival in it, right? Like I
Yes.
had one day a couple of weeks ago where Riggs took all of my books and threw them off the bookshelf. When I was
Uh-huh.
cleaning those up, he took a pen and wrote on our expensive couch. When I was
Yeah.
cleaning up the pen on the expensive couch, he went to the freezer and got handfuls of ice and threw them in the hallway. And he and Cash were like doing ice hockey, like skating on the floor.
Right.
And I just wanted to crawl in a corner and cry. So there are those moments for sure.
Yes.
But I think the power of choice of how can we have a peaceful face, which is something that Megan Leahy, the parenting expert from the Washington Post, talked to us about, like just keeping calm in the face,
Yes.
and also like having those moments of recuperation or whatever, where you're just flying a kite and having fun,
Yes.
and how that feeds the soul. Like I think that's so important.
Uh-huh. And that's the truth. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my kids do everything that I wish they would, because they are kids. And I experienced that with my toddler, where she's just on a rampage. And, as much as I get that patience that I have in a day, she wears it thin. And to be honest, when I look at all 4 of my kids, she's the most like me. And so I just remember that in my head. I'm like, you know what? She's a toddler. She's exploring. My house is it's not going to be perfect. I have 4 little people in here with me. And so, staying calm in the face and just keeping my tone as calm as possible. I make it fun when we're cleaning up so that she wants to come over and clean up with me. Whether it's singing a song or saying, Evan, we're going to clean up now. And, we sing the cleanup song and I play it on the speaker, so that maybe that will pause her rampage for the day. Yeah, that is extremely important. I love that. Calm in the face.
Yeah. Well, I've learned so much already, and I'm so thankful that you were here with us. But I wonder if you could tell all parents and caregivers just one thing about education or about parenthood, or just if you could give some advice to all parents and caregivers right now, what would that one piece of advice be?
Oh man, one piece of advice. I think as parents, we have a lot of outside influences, whether it's our parents or friends. I would say just do what fits for your family. We're all married to different people, and come from different backgrounds. We're raised differently, different experiences. And, for myself, I've had to learn that firsthand with my husband, totally different backgrounds. Literally, he told me he thinks he remembers flying a kite once. And so to me, I'm like, what? My mom was a PE teacher. We did all that. And so, but I didn't, shame him for it. I'm like, okay, well, next time come out with us, so it'll be fun for you and for them. But I would think, do what's best for your family. We're connected more with people than we've ever been, with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We're connected to more people than we ever been. And some parents may judge themselves that they're not doing everything that they should be, and, that can take a toll on us mentally. So, do what's best for your family, whatever it looks like. It may be slowing down, but everyone is having different experiences, but we're all going through the same thing at the same time. But just do what's best for your family. My son is on a totally different level than my daughter is. And so, I just try to make sure that I individualize when I can, but for the most part, we're always together. And it works for us. It's been tough as far as their friend aspect of it, because I know they both miss their friends at school. But, we try to do as much as we can just with our small little big family, I call it, family of six. I talked to my son this morning about any friends that he missed and why he missed them, and told him that maybe we can draw them a picture and we can send it to him. But that works for us. For some people it may not, and that's totally fine. But just doing what works for your family.
Yeah, that's what a word that is. I know that especially during this time with the pandemic, there have been a lot of pandemic lists. A lot of folks have said, like, these are the top things that you need to do. And actually, a lot of them have centered around parenting. Like, here's the top 10 books that you need to read. Here's the top 10 things that you need to be doing as a parent. And it's so easy to judge ourselves and what we're doing based off of what someone else is doing. But there's so much, ability to reclaim power. And this is what works for us.
Yes, like if you just want to watch Netflix and eat popcorn on a Sunday and that's all you have the mind capacity to do it, and don't feel guilty about it. The kids probably need that break as well. So,
yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's so important. And a great word to end on. Like I said, it's been so amazing to be with you. I have loved our reunion and reconnecting with you. We've been in contact on Instagram, and we know about each other, but it's been a long time since we had a conversation. So it's been really awesome to be with you. It reminds me how much I adore and love you and look up to you, and thank you for your presence. Your Instagram handle is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So if anybody wants to follow Mai on Instagram, you can. It's at It's My Jones is her handle. She is business owner of a Kiddie Academy in Franklin, which you heard a little about at the top of this interview. And you can find out all kinds of information about Kiddie Academy at kiddieacademy.com. Award winner, business owner, educator, mama 4. You are killing it. I am so excited to know you and so thankful that you were able to be here with us. It's been awesome.
Likewise, Casey. I'm so proud of you. And we're going to make the trip out to DC when all this stuff
yes.
goes down. Yes, but we'd love to explore. I love it. So proud of you.
Well, it's like I said, it's been truly an honor, and I'm thankful for you. Friends, if you are interested in hearing more from MyRanda, she's going to send us a one page of some information about education that you can check out on our online Foundry website and resource called The Well. And I hope that you'll check with us tomorrow, Tuesday. Hope you'll be with us Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. for Live with Pastor Will. And I hope that you continue to stay connected with Foundry in all the ways that you can be connected at Foundry. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all of those fun places. It's been an honor to be with you. Peace and love from over here with Good Noon with Pastor Casey. So we'll see you next time.
See you, Casey.